Okay, so in this video I'm going to run through again the order that we use the colours in the colour family, and also show you again how to apply them and blend them together. Now, as we run through the video, you will need to fill in here where you've got your 3 different lists of colour families. You can put the colours into order, and then in this box here you can make some notes, 3 targets for yourself about anything that you see that I do that you think could help develop your work. Okay, now first thing I'm going to do is have a look at the image that I'm working from. Okay, so I'm going to be looking to see where I've got the darker tones, the shadows, and where I've got the highlights around here. Now the first family that I'm going to work with is the red colour family, and you can see on here that I've already sketched out the main shapes and forms. Okay, now I'm going to start with the darker colour, okay, and I'm going to be using a purple. So I'm going to work onto this area here, and you can see that I'm applying the oil pastel lightly. Okay, I'm also using the curve of the shape to help keep the form looking realistic. Okay, and then when I've got a bit of a gradient, so I've got a bit darker at the bottom and a bit lighter as I'm fading out, I'm going to start to apply the next colour, the red. Now instead of applying it here, I'm actually going to work on top of the purple here. Okay, and you can see that as I apply the red, it begins to become a dark red and not so much a purple anymore. I'm going to extend the red out into this negative space here, so we've just got some red on its own. Then I'm going to start with the next colour, the orange. Okay, and again, instead of applying the orange here, I'm actually going to work on top of the red, layering it up. Okay, and this will help you to get a smooth blend once you start to work the colours together. Again, extending the orange out into the negative space. Okay, and then working a little bit with the yellow. And again, I'm going to put the yellow on top of the orange. And you can already see they're starting to blend together a little. Remember to be filling in the colours on your list as I work through them. Okay, and just to finish off, just here as you can see there's a little bit of a highlight. So I'm going to pop a little bit of white just on the top of there. Okay, and then when you've got your colours layered up like that, but you can still see through the paper, you want to start to work back into it with a circular motion. I'm going to work with the purple first of all. You can see I'm just dabbing it, just moving it around rather than across like before. Okay, and then with the red, I'm actually going to work on top of the purple because I want the purple to disappear and become a dark red. Okay, so blending those colours in by using that circular motion. I'm going to work just on this side of the form so that you can see it all happening. Okay, and then I'm going to start to work back on top with the orange. And you might need to do a couple of layers of this, okay, because the paper has got quite a rough surface. You might need to do a couple of layers of the circular blending. Hopefully you can see now that it's starting to become a lot smoother, and the transition from one colour to another is quite smooth. Okay, I'm just going to finish off with a little bit of the white. And then you might begin to work over again from the bottom. Until you're happy that they're all blended together nice and smoothly. Okay, so that's your red one. I'm now going to start to work on the green colour family. And the darkest tone that I'm going to use for that is going to be a dark blue. Okay, so I'm going to, again, in the same way, apply the blue at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to start to add the dark green, again, on top of the blue, but with its own layer emerging from the blue. And then I'm going to work with the light green on top of the darker green. And then with the finally with the yellow at the top. And then, like before, I'm going to start to use my circular motion to blend those colours together. And again, like before, working on top of the blue, so it becomes a dark green rather than such a strong blue. And when you start to get to where you put the light green on, that's when you swap to that lighter colour. And you can see it's starting to blend together nice and smoothly. And then for our final colour family, I'm going to look at the blue colour family. Okay, now I'm going to start with a very small amount of black, which you don't use very often, and I'm going to use a really, really small amount because it's such a strong colour and it's not one that we find often on natural objects such as food. Okay, so I'm just going to use a small amount and then work onto that with the dark blue. You can already see that change in tone even just with the layering. I'm going to work on with a lighter blue. Now if you don't have a dark blue and a light blue, you can use blue and fade it out with a gradient so it's darker to lighter by using lighter pressure, and then you can add a white to it, okay, if you don't have the light blue. Okay, then I'm going to add some white on top of some of the light blue to finish that section off, and then I'm going to start to blend it in. Circular motion. A little bit more dark blue. Start working with the light blue. We use the light blue all the way up to here, and then begin to work with the white on top. You can see I've almost created a new lighter blue through the blending of the light blue and the white. But you can see on this one there's still quite striated lines on there, so we might need to work back onto that. Okay, blending those where you see the line, working on top of it to dissolve it, so that you get a smoother overall blend in the end. Okay, so if you can for me, check now that you have written yourself 3 targets from what you've seen that's going to help you develop your blending today with the oil pastels.